Hey guys, it's Jason here from the Omni Sales team, and thank you so much for clicking on this video and actually doing something with trying to improve yourself on your sales journey. There are so many salespeople out there that refuse to get any sales training or refuse to improve themselves, and you today took that step. So number one, I'm super proud of you. In today's video, we want to talk about mastering the walkthrough. The walkthrough is the single greatest selling tool that you have in your assets, that you have in your arsenal. Why? Because this is how you build inspiration, and this is the way that we really develop the desired state that we're going to be talking about at the end. So if you are in any display, if you're working from a display, guys, I would highly suggest you watch this video all the way through, rewatch it again, and understand what each stage of mastering the walkthrough is about. Because if you can master the walkthrough, you can build desired state like no one else, and you're going to find it so much easier to sell to, or to sell to people. So, number one, what is a display walkthrough / its purpose? The display walkthrough is simple, guys. It is your opportunity to develop inspiration in your clients' minds. It's like when you go to a car dealership. When you go to a car dealership and walk in, the first thing they're always trying to do is to get you in the vehicle. Get in the vehicle so you can go for a drive, so you can feel what it feels like to be in that. You can picture yourself in that particular car. The display walkthrough is the same. It's to get the client to imagine themselves in that house, to get them to imagine themselves building with you as the builder. So the purpose of the walkthrough is it's your ability to be able to sell and inspire to your clients. Now, the craziest thing with a display walkthrough or a display home is your builder actually spends all that money for you so you don't have to go out and find these leads and then have to sell them a dream. They build the dream up for you. So if you're not using your displays to do walkthroughs, then guys, you need to seriously take a good hard look at yourself, because you're going to move into when should you do them, and that's a big thing. So what is the display walkthrough physically? That is where you walk into the home and allow your clients to walk through, and you see how your client is reacting to your home. You see how your client's reacting to your home. I want you to write that down. You see how the client is reacting to your home. Why is that important? Because the more that your client reacts, the more you can see that inspirational glee in their eyes light up, or the more you can see them like shy away from something. You know what to talk about, and you know what's going to really trigger their buttons. It's going to lead to the buying decision. You're putting them in the buying environment. You're going to do this through the display walkthrough. So the display walkthrough is where you and the client go together into the home. You get to see the home, and more importantly, you're watching how the client reacts. This is a massive one people forget, is when they do a display walkthrough, they sort of just sit there, like consultants, they sort of just sit there on the bench and they sort of just let their clients walk through. You're trying to inspire an imagination in their mind. So unless they're buying that exact display home you have, with all the inclusions, it's likely that you're walking them through and you're talking about a different design. So this is the opportunity to get that inspiration into their head. The biggest word I want you to write down with display walkthroughs is inspiration. This is an inspirational journey for the clients to discover their desired state. Because when you can move them to their desired state, it's going to be a lot easier to sell. So that's what a display walkthrough is, and that's what its purpose is. Now the question is, when should you do a display walkthrough? When should you do them? There are two critical times to do a display walkthrough. Number one is when you first meet the client. Just like a car dealership, when you first meet the car dealership, the first time you go into the car dealership, the first thing they're going to try to do is get you in the car so you can go and take it for a test drive. The first time you should do a display walkthrough with the client is when they're coming in for the first time, or maybe they've quickly walked into the home and you follow them in a couple of minutes later and start seeing how they're reacting to the home. Why? Because you're trying to pick up on all the tells about how they like your product or if they don't like your product. Now, it's great. Think about it this way. I want you to imagine a client walks in and they walk through your displays and they come back in and the first thing they say is, I hated that display. All right, well, there's not much you can really do because you've lost the opportunity to sell to them now. You lost the opportunity to engage with them because they already don't like your product. But if you walk in and you're in there with them and you're seeing how their eyes are, you're seeing them sort of make snide comments, or you're seeing them like pick on some of the stuff, that's when you can be like, ooh, okay, they don't like this home. All right, quickly pivot. All right, guys, give me a couple of seconds. Run inside, grab your promotional booklet out. Run inside and grab your product brochure out and take them to a product that might suit them. Or if you have some inspirational hero shots from other displays that they're preferring, maybe show them that. So for an example, one of the biggest things when I worked in displays is we had a beautiful Palm Springs inspired display home. And when people walked into that home, they fell in love with it. And then the next two were Hampton styling. And then we had a couple of basic ones at the top. so people could see our standard inclusions. But when I would walk people through the palm-inspired design, everyone was like, yeah, I love this design, but I just don't like this look. I mean, some people loved it. I would really like the Hamptons look. Well, if I didn't have all 5 displays to show them, I would have already missed out on that client. So that's what I mean is, if you can see the client isn't quite vibing with what they're looking at, go and get a hero shot from a display that does suit them. And the only way you're gonna find that out is you're gonna watch their eyes and you're gonna see when they don't like something. And when you see that in their eyes that they don't like it, you're gonna be like, guys, look, I'm not the biggest fan of this display either. Like, there's a few things I probably would have done a bit style different. What kind of styling are you looking for? Whatever they go and get a hero shot of that type of design or that type of inclusion level or that kind of inspiration look, and show them that they can put that onto any of your homes. This is a massive thing. The display homes are designed to create the desired state, but if it's not the styling that they want, a lot of people can be turned off. Like, I worked for a very large builder when I was in the industry, and we had the same display in multiple locations because it was a very popular display. And I would walk into some of them and hate it, and I would walk into others and love it, of the same home, just because of the way it was styled or perhaps the way that it sort of flowed with the furniture. So just because you have a display home doesn't mean that that's the only thing that you can show them. Show them hero shots of other displays if they're not vibing. But the only way you can figure that out is you have to be in there with them to see it. So that's number one. That's the inspirational side. When's the second time you should show people through the display homes? When you're doing your presentation. If you followed us through the 7 steps of selling that we've done on a previous video, you'll understand that there's 7 stages that a client buys a home in, or there's 7 stages that we sell to a client. And after stage 4 and 5, which is desired state, which we're going to get to, and the reality check, which is step 5, step 6 is the presentation. Now, why I want you to understand that we should always show clients after we've done a reality check on them before the price. So when should we show the clients the second time? We should show them before we've presented the price, but after we've ripped their dreams away. It's right in the middle, and there's a reason. Because like we described in the 7 steps of selling, it's the phoenix out of the ashes. It's when it comes out and it's like, this is the savior to their problems. This is what's gonna fix their problems. This is what they're gonna get. This is gonna be the answer that they're looking for. So, the second time you should show people through the home is number 1, the start is the inspiration. Second is when we're selling. So once we've built up the desired state in their head, we've ripped it away with the reality check, we then do what's called the presentation. And the presentation is just the display walkthrough. The presentation is where you're now highlighting inclusions, you're highlighting things that they get, things that suited their main buying goals, things that showed them that it's gonna suit their desired state, picture that they have in their head of how they wanna use their home. So what happens, like if you think about it, we build the clients up through the desired state. Like if you haven't seen the 7 steps of selling, go and watch that video because it will make much more sense. But you build them up with the desired state, then you rip them down with the reality check. And the bigger that we can make that gap, the easier it comes for us to be able to present to the client and show them the presentation. Why? Because the worse you can make them feel at that reality check stage, when you show them the solution, the more they're going to appreciate that solution and the more they're going to open up to that solution. So that's why the presentation should be done after the reality check stage. So you should give the presentation before you give the price. Why? Because when should you give the price to a client? You should give the price to the client when the perceived value is at its highest. So if you've just built up the dream, you've ripped it away through the reality check, you've represented to the client, that perceived value is going to be huge at that point. Boom, that's when you give them the price. Why? Because that's when they're most likely to buy. That's when pain and pleasure it's at its highest or at its peak, and that's when a client's likely to make a decision. So that's when you should do them. Number 3, how do you actually do a walkthrough? So we're going to take away the inspiration side, or we're going to start with the inspiration side. The inspiration side should be more of an inclusion-based display walkthrough. So what I mean by that is you are going to have a standard set of inclusions, you're going to have a standard set of promotions. When you're doing that initial walkthrough, you should be highlighting a lot of the things that they're going to be getting for standard or for free. Why? Because it builds up value in that client's head that, oh my God, like I'm walking through a display home and I get a lot of what I see on display. I feel like I'm getting a display home. I better engage with this person. I better find out more information. So when we're doing the inspirational stage, a walkthrough is really designed to be like an inclusions-based display walkthrough. So you're showing the client a lot of what they get. The reason we do it now is when we move on to the selling stage walkthrough, you've already explained them all the inclusions. We don't have to go through that again. So now we're selling that dream to them. Like we're selling them on the fact that they're getting their desired state. So the inspirational walkthrough, which is the first one, is going to focus and target inclusions, and you're going to be seeing the client's eyes. This is where you're seeing and your making point is going, do you guys like this kind of stuff? Do you like that Caesar stone? Do you like these ceiling heights? Do you like these tiles? Do you like these lights? Whatever it is. The inspiration part of the walkthrough, or that stage of the walkthrough of how to do it, is when you're seeing what the client wants, because they're going to tell you stuff that they don't necessarily believe, or their eyes are going to show you what they truly mean behind their words. So just because a client says they don't like something, they might actually like it, or they might just try to be polite and go, yeah, we love this display, but you can see in their eyes that they're judging everything they're walking past. So that's how you do a walkthrough at the start. When we're in doing the walkthrough, how do you physically do it? So when I'm doing a walkthrough, I'm like highlighting certain features, I'm looking at the client's eyes, but what I'm doing is I'm speaking in a really gentle, a very calming, a very welcoming, a very inspirational voice. So hey guys, you see those beautiful Caesar stone bench tops in the kitchen? That's exactly what we get in our inclusions. We get beautiful Caesar stone bench tops. The ceiling heights, these elegantly high ceilings, these are our standard ceiling heights that we're giving you at the moment. Or these are our promotional ceiling heights. Rather than it being the coarse voice that I normally have or the selling voice I have, it's that inspirational voice. It's that gentle voice. So clients can get that inspirational feel. They can feel that inside them. What do I also do? I always stick to the outside walls. So I always make myself as small as possible. So because the clients aren't looking at me, they're looking at the display they're walking through. So I'm always against the wall, but I'm always watching the client. This is the massive mistake, massive pointer I want you to write down is, guys, you must always be watching what your clients are looking at. And you can do it subtly. Obviously, I'm sitting on the bench top or I'm just chilling out. I'm sort of just like looking around, but I'm always like just bringing my eye contact back to see where they're looking, to see the facial reactions they're making. Why? Because that's what's going to hint at the fact of what they like or not. So that's the inspirational walkthrough. When we do the presentation walkthrough, that's when we're selling the desired state with our presentation. So if the client said that they're wanting to, because one of the questions you're going to ask your clients is, what's the perfect weekend look like in your new home? And whatever answer they give you, that's how they picture themselves being in your home. So when you're doing the presentation walkthrough, which is when you're about to give them the price, you're going to be highlighting all of those things that they talked about. So one of the biggest things for us, Jason, is we want to make sure that we have a big backyard for our kids to run around on and we can see them playing football in the backyard. And we want to have beautiful cookies cooked on a Sunday morning before we go to church. Just assume that's what it is. Guys, when you're walking through, guys, can you see the oven that you guys are going to be cooking those cookies in? We're going to be signing all those cookies up on this bench. The kids are going to be running in after playing football. You guys are just going to have this awesome afternoon. Can you picture where that pool's going to go? Notice how nothing, not a single thing we're talking about now is about inclusions. It's all about how you're going to utilize the house. So inspirational walkthrough is inclusions to see what the client likes. Presentation walkthrough is what we use to sell the desired state and sell how our home suits the life they're looking for. Very big difference. Now, a lot of consultants, guys, just straight up, I'm going to ask you the question right now. You just have to have a look in the mirror. Do you already do display walkthroughs? Like, do you do them? Do you do display walkthroughs yourself? Or do you just give people the price and let them walk through? The way you sell, guys, is you need to build up a desired state. You need to build up in their head why your product is the best. You need to give them that connection, that emotional connection. Why? I'll ask you this question. Is your product worth the price that you guys sell it for? Yes. Will it help the client solve an issue they're having in their life, and will it help them get to a dream state? Yes. Then it is your responsibility to sell to them. Why? Because you have something that's going to fix their problem. So many consultants choose not to sell and choose to be lazy and just rely on the display to sell for them. You guys are sales agents. Get into the display with them. And guys, again, the only reason I'm telling you is I was you. I did the same things. These are the mistakes I learned. I teach all of this stuff on YouTube because I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes. I burnt a lot of people's dreams because I was a weak salesperson and I didn't step up. If I had my time again, that was my biggest regret in sales, is I didn't spend more time in the display with the clients so that I could give them more information. Now, when I finally learned that, I was in the display every day with clients. Why? Because that's where that transformational feeling comes from. That's where the human connection comes from. That's when you can see them like falling in love. Guys, for me personally, that's the most beautiful thing, to watch clients fall in love with your product. because then you get the opportunity to give them everything they've ever wanted. And that's why the display walkthrough, when we're doing the presentation style, needs to be built upon that. Step 4, soft close, yes, yes, yes. Like anything in sales, guys, we're always trial closing. We're always soft closing as we go. I'm gonna teach you an incredible rule. I want you to write this down. I'm gonna teach you a very important rule. I want you to write this down. You should never give the price until you know the answer is yes. You should never give the client a price until you know the close is guaranteed. Why? Because if you're giving prices early, it means you haven't built up the value properly. So when we're talking about soft closes, yes, 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 we're trying to get into the client's mind that this is the home, they love this home, they want this home, they need this home, they should buy this home, they need to buy this home today. So what we're doing with soft closes is we're asking a bunch of questions to see how ready they are to make that buying decision, how ready they are to make the transaction, to make the transformation. They're on one side of a portal and you guys want to get them to the other side. And the only way they can step through that and get their dream life is they must commit. They must say yes. There must be some form of soft closing in there. The more soft closing you can get, the more you can get the client to understand this is the right thing. And again, when I say it's your responsibility to get the client to understand, the client wants this and the client needs this, and you have the product to give to them. So all you're trying to do is get them to realize that. Why? Because you're fixing the problems. It's your responsibility to sell if you have the right product for them. And you're only going to discover that through the alignment stage, which is step 3 of the 7 steps of selling. So soft close, get them to say yes, yes, yes. So when you ask for the money, it's more likely going to be a yes. Step 5 and 4 you actually use together, but it's the desired state stage. So when we're in doing display walkthroughs and when we talk about mastering the walkthrough, there should be no pain you feel during the display walkthrough. You get into a car at a car dealership to do a test drive. There shouldn't be any pain. That should be all the pleasure they're feeling. Why? Because they're associating pleasure with your product. So when we're in the displays doing the display walkthrough, we should be building up the desired state at all times. And that's what I was explaining on how to do the walkthrough, is when we're doing the presentation walkthrough, everything they told you they need in their life, you are doing that through the desired state, desired state, desired state, desired state. Build it up in their head. Why? Because what happened? So the 7 steps of selling, you got to the alignment, you know your product's right for them. You then built up the desired state verbally and you got them to imagine that. Then you ripped it away with the reality check. And then when we've come back in with the presentation, you guys are then you're redirecting all of that negative energy to be in the desired state again. Why? Because they've just realized with you that they went through the strongest pain, which is the reality check, and they've got themselves through to the top feeling again, which is the desired state. And you took them there the quickest. Why? People who make that change in us, the people who take us from the bottom to get us to the top the quickest, they're the people we want to work with. Why? Because that's the person I want to deal with. I want the person that helps me and gets me to my goals, my dreams and aspirations. I don't want to work with someone who just leaves it up to me. And again, guys, that's just me. That's why I'm really big on the display walkthrough. This is how you really develop the client, get them to understand that your product's the best. So guys, if you follow that mastering the walkthrough step by step, understand what the display walkthrough is and what its purpose is. Understand when you should be doing them, the 2 major times you should be doing them. I mean, every time you meet the client, you should do it, but these are the 2 major times. When they first come in and when you're doing the presentation. How do we do the walkthrough? Make sure you use that inspirational voice. You're slow, you're calm, you give them time. Just before I move on from this point, I want you to remember this and write this down. The display walkthrough should be done in a slow build-up phase as they're walking through. Why? Because you're giving their brain the opportunity to connect the neurons together to go, this is the solution to my problem. This is the good feeling I've been looking for. So you should never rush a display walkthrough because it's the time the client falls in love. It's the time the client develops that connection to your product. You should always be asking soft closes all the way through, trying to get as many yeses as you can, and you're always building up the desired state. If you follow that framework, if you understand and really dive into understanding what each stage is and you utilize it in your selling game, guys, your sales are going to go through the roof. I can promise you, because this is what clients are buying. They're buying a feeling. Write that down. Clients are buying a feeling. They're not buying a product. Your product just happens to be the thing that gives them the feeling, but the client wants to solve a feeling problem they have. So as always, guys, my name was Jason. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have a salesperson in your game that really needs to see this, please send it to them. Like, the only way they're going to improve is by learning how to do these things. If there's any issues you're having, drop it down in the comments below, and we'll do a separate video on that. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.